Hello and welcome to Frank's School. I'm continuing to refer back to videos that I put online a couple months ago. This is the 29th day of the third year, but I'm referring back to videos that I put on in the 174th day of the second year, which was last June. And this part, I call it the road search for Xose's mill. If you've been following along now in chronological order, Shirley and I walked on part of that botanical garden along that river and were quite taken by the beauty of the site. Well, I guess actually technically it's not quite in chronological order, because no sooner had we gotten to that hotel or mill or hostel than we got in the car, back in the car, and drove. So this we actually did before we walked the whole way along that botanical garden, I think. Anyway, here's where I introduce it, and then this is the film footage itself as we drive along trying to find the church, which was within sight of the mill. And if you watch this, you'll understand it. Now, as I have said before, that if you have your finger on the pause button, this film footage is available for study. And I studied some as I was getting ready for today. And right at the beginning of it, one of the first shots you see a wall, and there are holes in the wall, square holes in the wall fairly high. Why are they there? I'm not sure, actually. It probably has to do with timbers that go out of sight into the building. But what I thought about it was, in Xose's mill there is a similar situation at a spot, and I had concluded from that was where timbers rested from the outside. I'm not sure. And high above it is also a window, a hinged window. Now that might just be a window, I don't know, but by pausing, I studied that, and I could pause more. Another thing I did when we found the church, I saw excursion. I went in and I filmed the bulletin board, and I paused on that and read it. I think it's interesting that I can read Galician just fine. I read it, I think, better than Spanish, and it's because it's that close to Portuguese. Well, it said that there was an excursion to Bracalandia. I was curious about that. I read the whole thing. It was leaving June 1st. The bus came through. It would pick you up there. I thought, well, because I saw it was in Portugal, and I thought, wow, an excursion from here all the way to Portugal? Portugal is hours away, maybe 3 hours away by bus. Well, I looked it up. I searched it, and Bracalandia is an amusement park in Braga. So, I suppose that might be 4 hours away, that excursion. But anyway, I thought, it showed that that's a very lively community there. That's, by all means, things are going on there. And then the one other thing I noticed was, as I paused on the plaque that shows the map of the botanical garden and the various sites, well, I paused long enough and I actually read it, and it said that you're supposed to walk that botanical garden in 2 stages. But in the one, it mentioned the Moinho de Pena, that hotel, but it also mentioned a bridge, and it said there was an old Roman bridge there. So we didn't go along that, but had we been walking along it, we would have seen the remains, I guess, of an old Roman bridge. As you drove the road, you couldn't even figure out where that bridge was. You couldn't really see it. Well, I hope you're following this along. This is for study, and I decided to stop here. Tomorrow, I'll remind you and give you the numbers so that you can find where Shirley and I actually walked for the first time to Xose's mill, and then we went a second day to measure it. Okay, see you tomorrow.